Okay, first things first, just to go over the consent again. Everything you say here will stay in this room, but we are being recorded, and if you mention wanting to hurt someone else, then that's something that I would have to report to the teachers, or wanting to hurt a elderly person or a child, then that's also something that I would break confidentiality for. But other than that, everything stays in here, other than Dr. Matthews watching the video, obviously.
Right.
So tell me about the last week for you. Have any highs or lows?
Yeah, I guess you could say the low is I kind of had to cancel my birthday weekend. But oh, sorry.
Oh, that's
Um,
okay.
Other than that, the high is I mean I'm still trying to do something. Like I'm probably just gonna go out to dinner with my boyfriend tonight, but it won't be like a huge celebration. So it's a little bit of something. So I'm not just doing anything at all. So I guess that's like the high part. Like it's not completely just I'm not doing anything at all. That makes sense.
So tell me about what the plan was, and then now what the plan is.
So the plan was originally I was going the whole weekend. I was supposed to do things with my friends. I was gonna try to make this class work so that I can do it a little bit earlier, but that didn't work out that way. And so with the timing, I wouldn't be able to do everything how I was trying to do it, and I had people coming from out of town, and I didn't want them to come and waste their time, and it was just a lot, so I had to cancel it. So basically, just the friends that I've made in Dallas, I just kind of explained to the ones in Houston, like I'm just gonna try and do something with them out here, so I'm just not doing anything. And then so yeah, basically now I'm just basically improvising. I'm just kind of trying to stick with the plan, but like also just trying to do something so it doesn't completely suck. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. So today it seems like you're feeling pretty irritated.
yeah, just a little bit. I would say more so just a little disappointed because I've always celebrated my birthday since a kid. Like that's one of the main things my aunt said. Because I was, oh, you always used to have the best parties. So like, it's just a little disappointing that I don't get to celebrate it the way I originally planned to this
Mm-hmm.
year. Yeah,
So birthdays have always been an exciting event for you.
yeah, I would say so. The last time I didn't really get to do anything was during COVID. Because my birthday is due in March and COVID had just broken out, so nothing was open. I couldn't even go to a restaurant. I just had to. The one restaurant I did went because I enjoy seafood. They were open, but it was for takeout, so it was like I had to get the food to go. And then I went back to my parents' house and ate, and that was pretty much it. Because I mean, literally flights, everything was shut down, so I couldn't do anything. So it just kind of
Wow.
reminds me of, I guess, that birthday, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So today, do you feel like that your mood is ruined for the celebrations, or?
I wouldn't say it's completely ruined. I'm still trying to have the optimism, again, like I don't get to see all of my friends, but maybe I can take a trip this summer, with them and do something then and just kind of just like a late birthday trip. Just basically trying to be optimistic. Like, what good can I find out of the situation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your Houston friends, the ones that is they're not coming anymore.
Yes, no, they're not coming. There was three. Well, I have my god sister. She stays in Austin, so she was coming from Austin, and then it was two of my friends that were coming from Houston. And well, no, actually, there were supposed to be two, but one of them had to cancel. She had some other things going on, but it was fine. And then I have another friend. She actually lives in New York. She had bought her flight ticket and everything. So yeah. um, but we've been friends for years. I think we talked about that last week. Most of my
Mm-hmm.
friends, yeah, we've been friends for at least 5 years or more. So they were pretty understanding of it. And my friend, she was able to, I think, get like flight credit, but I don't think that's the same thing as getting your money back or something like that. I don't know. I think she was kind of disappointed too because like she just didn't text me back like after I was like telling her. So I'm just like, I don't even know where that stands with that right now, but I don't know. Yeah.
Oh wow! Tell me more about her not responding.
um, I don't know if she's mad or if she's just disappointed because because I mean, I mean, I would be a little irritated too if I went out the way to like book a ticket and I was coming and then I like last minute cancel something. But it's like at the same time, I didn't really have too many options, you know. And then on top of that, it wasn't even just the school thing. I had an issue with the place that I ordered my outfits from. None of my outfits came in, and they still won't be in until well after my birthday. Like I can't even wear it on my actual birthday, like on Tuesday. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, but I was okay. I mean, yes, I was irritated, but I still had other clothes. You know, it's not like I didn't have anything at all. Um, but yeah, so I explained that to her, but I still understand that even after that explanation, it can still be a little frustrating because it's like I took time off, I booked a ticket, we had all these plans, and now it's just like you canceled like 2 days before.
Hmm.
So I get it.
Yeah. So, I know last time we talked about sort of social anxiety for events.
Mhm.
Tell me about how kind of that plays out when it comes to birthday parties. Does it come in or not really?
It depends on where I'm at. Like if I'm at a like, I can give you an example. Yesterday, I attempted to go out, but even that didn't work out. But while I was there, I can say that I was nervous. What I noticed when I was because we didn't stay for long because it was like an issue with like the tables and stuff. But it's kind of like I get tunnel vision whenever I'm like out in public that way. Like I don't see anything else. It's like I see, but I don't see. I kind of tune it out, and I do notice that I look down a lot. But I it's crazy because I look down, but I can also see. And I've seen people like, for an example, I was at a Chinese buffet like a couple of weeks ago, and I had my head down, but I can still see. I don't. I guess it's because I've always done that like as a kid, and so I can see the guy. Like I guess you could say in my peripheral, like you kind of like the vision, like when you're looking down, you can still see up. And I moved out of his way before he could move out of mine. And he kind of like when I looked up, he kind of looked at me like, "How did you see me?" You know, like, and I'm just like, I don't know. I guess because I'm just so used to looking down that I know how to. I don't know. It's weird. I guess it sounds weird, but I don't know. It makes sense to me in a way. So it's kind of like I just have that vision where it's like I see what I need to, but I try and block everything else out so that I don't feel so much pressure like everybody is staring because everybody was definitely staring when I walked up yesterday. And I don't know if it was maybe they just like my outfit. I don't know, and it made me a little bit nervous. So I just kind of like I don't know. It's like I put this block on where I don't really see, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, so when you feel like everyone's staring, what kind of thoughts enter your brain?
Uh, it depends on how I look. If I don't feel like I look all that great, then I might they probably think I look a mess. But yesterday, I felt a little bit confident in how I look because I like my outfit and stuff. So I was like, oh, they're probably looking because they like my outfit. So it wasn't that bad, but it still makes me nervous that people are just staring in general. If that makes sense, it's not so
Mm-hmm.
much of like, oh, they're criticizing me. It's just like, why is everybody staring at me? You know, like that awkward kind of. And then I already have social anxiety, so it's like it kind of just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So tell me more about looking down.
Um, I don't know where that started. I don't know if it started when I was younger or if that's just because it's almost as if like I put myself in my own little world. If I can give another example, like a couple of years ago, before me and my boyfriend were together, we were just friends. We went to a pool party, and he was telling me about one of the girls that was there. I guess I don't know. I guess she was like trying to like talk to him low key. I don't know. It was weird, and she was like in the pool and basically without saying too much, she was like doing the most, like in the pool, like trying to get his attention. And it's like I saw her, but I kind of like I didn't pay attention to it because I'm like, okay, maybe she just doesn't realize that that's what's going on, you know. And then I was just like, I'm seeing like the trends, like the because I saw her like move all the way to the end of the pool, and then I saw him move back towards me, and I'm seeing like this back and forth thing, but again, I'm not really paying attention to it because I'm like kind of like in my own world. So long story short, after the party's over, he's like, "Did you not see what was happening?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "You didn't see me like moving from one pool to the." And I was like, "Actually, yeah, I did see that, but like I'm not thinking like anything is going on because again, I'm in my own world." He's like, "Oh, I was trying to get away from her because she was like trying to do like this." I don't know. I guess like trying to talk to me. So it was like when she would move that way, I was trying to move the opposite way of her. And I was like, wow. I was like, I did see that, but I didn't put together that that's what was actually happening until he like brought it to my attention, if that makes sense.
So it sounds like it sort of feels like there's so much going on that you just shut down a little bit.
I guess so, in a way, yeah. I
Mhm.
guess I guess I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, I kind of shut down parts. I guess I just get the main part because like if somebody was to ask me, did you see that happening? I would be like yes, but I didn't know the reason behind why it was happening until he told me. But it was like because I had saw it, I believed him when he told me because I was like I saw it, I just didn't realize that's what was going on.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay. So do you think you shut down only in situations where there's a lot of people around, or does that remind you of anything from your past where you would kind of shut down?
I think it's more so when I feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
Because I've done it even like at home. I guess I give another example. Me and one of my friends had kind of fell out last year doing like a birthday thing. It was like a whole big mess. And but I've been knowing her since elementary, so of course she knows my parents. And at the time, she was going to my parents' church because they're pastors. And so that particular day, she came over there because they were having something for the church members. I don't remember, which is understandable. She came over there; she's a member at the church. But it was an awkward situation where it was just like I was in the kitchen when she walked in, and like you know what I'm saying. We kind of fell out, so it was awkward. So it was like my head was down, but I can see everything she was doing. Like she walked in and she rolled her eyes at me. I'm like, how you gonna roll your eyes? I'm in my house. How are you mad? Cause I'm at home. You know, like, cause that was at the time I was staying with my parents for like that year when I was transitioning between I had just graduated and trying to decide what I was gonna do as far as my master's degree. And so, but yeah, I saw all of that and like. My parents have cameras. They played it back and they saw exactly what I was saying, but my head was down the whole time. But I was able. I don't know how I saw it, but and I guess it's because my head is not down like the whole. Like I might look up every now and then. I honestly can't explain to you how I do it, but I don't know. I guess I just been so used to doing it that I just, you know.
So was your head kind of down because you knew she was coming over?
It was uncomfortable.
So yeah, tell me more about why y'all fell out.
Um, I'm trying to think of the shortest way. Okay, so basically,
You
okay,
can take a long time.
okay.
Sometime.
I forgot. Okay, so let's see, where do I want to start? So I mentioned we've been knowing each other since elementary, the fourth grade. I met her in the fourth grade, and so she met her husband in high school, which they had just recently got. My birthday is in March. They had gotten married in like November. So like this is last March, so the November before last March, if that makes sense.
2020.
We're in 2022. 2020. Yeah, so it's the end of 2020. They got married. And but I knew him, of course, because they've been together since high school, and I've been knowing her since elementary. And so at the time, again, I was staying with my parents. My parents, they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't cuss, any of that. And so to have such like my party at my house, I don't. I mean, the type of music, and it just wouldn't work there unless they just decided they weren't going to be there at all, which they weren't going to leave their house. So finding an Airbnb was hard because of COVID. Um, So yeah, there was that, and then because they had like a lot of restrictions, and then a hotel was hard too because of the restrictions. I was able to find one hotel, and I let her know that, and I was just like, hey, can I have my event at your house? Talk to your husband about it. I'm telling her like it's okay if the answer is no. Like just let me know what it is. I'm cool with it being no. I already have a hotel that's booked, so we can still go to that hotel. She was like, okay, I'll ask. So a couple weeks later, she's like, oh yeah, it's no problem. He said he'll just leave for the weekend. Okay, cool. So because everything is going to be at her house, I'm talking to her and I'm keeping her up to date about everything. So the event comes, and that night we didn't get home till like 4 o'clock in the morning. But it was said I let everybody know prepared for a weekend full of fun. Like we're going to be out. It's my birthday. We're not going to come home at 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Who comes home that early on their birthday weekend, especially when you're a little bit younger. And so the next day, so I didn't go to the restaurant or anything. I was so tired when I got to our house, I just went to sleep. Went to sleep on the couch. The next morning, I get up and the bathroom is like a mess, a complete mess. There's like, not to be vulgar, but there's like poop stains on the toilet. There's like, she didn't clean anything. There was like rings around the tub. She had like I don't know if you've ever been in a master bedroom that has like the big tub and then a standalone shower. Both of those were dirty. She had all of her son's toys at the bottom. She wears wigs, so her wigs were like all over the corner. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like if I'm gonna have like But mind you, it was just me. But the thing about it was, people were supposed to come to her house that Friday. It's just that they changed their mind last minute. But up until then, people were supposed to come, so you didn't clean up. You just left your bathroom like this and just expected for my guests to be like. So I'm like giving her the benefit of that. Okay, maybe she'll clean up in between time. Still doesn't happen. So after the event, I had planned to do like 3 different things, but because we got in so late, all we wanted to do was go out to eat. So we went out to eat that Saturday. We were supposed to have it was supposed to have like a pajama thing like at her house or whatever. Afterwards, we got done with dinner or lunch, brunch around like 3 o'clock. And so we get in the car and she's like, "Oh, I thought you were having a pajama party right now. I thought that's what we were going back to do." You thought we were having a pajama party at 5 o'clock in the sun is still up. The sun is still up. I don't understand how you thought we were having a pajama party. Little kids don't even have a pajama party at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So why would you think, you know? So now I'm getting upset because I'm like, you're the main one that I've been talking to about this weekend because it was at your house. So how are you confused about what's going on all of a sudden? And so then when I get, I have to drop her back off to the house to pick up her car because she was the designated driver. So we go to my parents' house. She gets her car. I go upstairs to grab a few more things to go to the house. She calls me and is like, "Well, I think it's She told me that I had to be out of her house on Sunday by 9 o'clock. Not
A.M.
A.M. By 9 o'clock a.m. Not like get up and get ready at 9 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have to get a hotel for that night. So backtracking, so she called me. She's like, "Well, I just think it's stupid that you got a hotel for one night, and that's a waste of money, and you could just have the party at the hotel." And I'm like, but I only got the hotel because you told me I had to be out of your house Sunday at 9 o'clock, and I still had things to do because I was going to go to brunch at 11. And so that's not feasible to have my guests get up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to be out by 9. So where are we supposed to go to 11 o'clock for 2 hours? And she's like, "Well, I just think that's dumb. I can help you pay for the difference to get a bigger room so you can just have it at the hotel." Like, she's trying to cancel it the day of. So that's strike one. So I didn't make a big deal about it. I'm like, whatever, you don't want us at your house, I'm like, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'll figure out something else. I didn't argue with her or anything. She calls me back and says, "Oh, well, I talked to my husband. It's okay now, y'all can come." So I'm like, okay. So we get there. Her husband is there. And she's like half asleep on the couch, but she's awake. And he's like, "Oh, y'all had my wife out too late. She's not used to being out that late. Y'all were out till almost 5 o'clock in the morning." Mind you, we're all adults. And at the time, she was only 23. She was only 23. And he's complaining.
So he seemed
like,
upset?
Yeah, he seemed like upset, I guess, or annoyed because like, "Oh, she didn't get any rest. So anything she was supposed to help y'all clean up with, I'm just going to do that because she's just too tired." And I'm just looking at my friend like, you couldn't have said that because you could have just said like, "Hey, I know I said I was going to help you clean up, but I'm a little exhausted. I had a long shift. Do you mind if my husband helps?" That's all you had to say. But you had your husband to like lecture us as if we're like little kids and we had you out too late as if you're not an adult and you can't speak up, or you could have drove your own car. You volunteered to be the designated driver. So I'm not understanding the issue. So again, I ignore it and I still try to clean up. She does nothing. She sits on the couch the whole time. She doesn't engage. She doesn't play any games. I turned down. I asked her. I was like, "Hey, can I take a video of like the scenery, the food? Everybody's here." Mm-hmm. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'll turn down the TV." I turned down the TV when I got done with the video. She was like, "Are you done with the video?" I was like, "Yeah." She turns up the TV even louder over the music, and she sits there on the couch and watches it the whole time. On top of the bathroom, still being a mess as if it was like I told you earlier. So she did all of that. Then she has a drink at the end. So when I confront her about it and I told her like, I don't know what happened, like, is there miscommunication? "Well, if it wasn't up to your standards, you can just have it elsewhere. I'm not obligated to cater to you and your..." So we fell out. That was that. So that was the long drawn out story about what happened. So that was about the shortest version I can tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, and then her husband, I asked because we had a miscommunication with the food because I was having we were having fried ribs, fried fish, collard greens, mac and cheese. Like, it was like a whole spread. It was my birthday, And I had him, he knows my parents. So he went to go meet, of course, I've been knowing them for years. So he went to go meet my parents to get the food. He was like, if I went to go get it, I had to give him like money for gas and something else on my birthday. So I give him money for gas and whatever he wanted from the store. So he goes to get that. He was like, "Oh, this food looks good. Can I have a plate when I come back?" I was like, "Yeah, if there's some left. If there's some left, I will fix you a plate and I'll have Destiny," we have the same name. Her name is Destiny too. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "And I'll have her put a plate to the side for you." So he goes and gets the food. So we're all outside on the balcony, talking or whatever. So when we get ready to come back in, he comes out and he's like, "Oh, your food is here, and I already fixed my plate." So I pay you for gas. I pay you to get something at the store that you want on my birthday. Then you come and fix your plate anyways, and then you come tell me before my guests or anybody, I haven't even seen the food. You tell me that your plate is already fixed. And I'm like, I understand it was your house, but that was completely out of. That's like me going to go get your birthday cake, cutting a piece, and then saying, "Oh, I got your birthday cake, but I already cut my piece." You didn't pay for this food, nor were you the people that were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? How do you know I didn't have a set amount? And you just fixed somebody's plate, and now one of my guests can't get a plate because you fixed it before I can. I didn't even get a chance to even look in the food to see if everything was right before he fixed his plate.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a lot of the frustration was sort of she couldn't communicate basic things
Right.
about, what her expectations were and what she was okay with
Right.
before the party. So it was just kind of a lot of
Right.
passive aggressive back and forth.
And so she got cut off because of that. And there was a lot of like victim claim. Like she tried to go to my parents and like talk to them as if like it was gonna make a difference. And I'm just like, and then she calls me and says that I'm an adult and I should have. And I'm like, she's like, "Oh, you can't speak up for yourself." And I'm just like, "But you had your husband to speak up for you when you could have just told me, like I'm tired. I know I told you that I would." But now I'm the problem. Now I'm the issue. And if it wasn't up to my standards, then I can have it elsewhere. That was really her response.
Yeah, going to your parents, that sounds.
It's extreme. It's manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, well, you need to talk to her and tell her, like, "No, ma'am, we're grown, and you knew exactly what you were doing." And she's like, "Oh, I can see you as a sister. You're just gonna cut me off like that. We must never been really friends." And I'm just like, well, if we were really friends, we wouldn't be having this conversation, will we?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm confused. You would have, everything would have been cleaned up, and if it wasn't, you would have come and told me like, "Hey, sis, I know I told you I got behind. I'm really tired. Can you help me clean up the back?" I wouldn't have mind, but that's not how you approached me. And then it's not only did you, I can understand just the bathroom. I understand being tired and time getting away from you, but it's how you acted at the party as well. It's not just about you not cleaning up, and now I'm just supposed to be okay with that, and we're just supposed to move on, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not how that works. Because I would have never done you that way. And if there was an issue with the cleanup, I would have let you know ahead of time.
Have you ever thought about trying to patch things up with her, or it just got too?
It got too out of hand because it got to the point where it was like she came to my house and was like, because the same day when I was telling you she came with the attitude, like she tried to block me from getting in my own door. Like she just did a lot. It's just too much.
Block you?
Yeah, like and she was, I guess she needed to go out to her car and get something for her son, but I had already went out there, and so I was coming in as she was going out, and again my parents checked the camera so they saw her do it, and she tried to lie and say that's not what happened, but it was like kind of like, okay, me and you are standing in the door, right? I'm her and you're me, so you're coming in the door. So she saw, I guess, instead of her, usually if you're startled by somebody, like say we did get to the door at the same time, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and you would move out that person's way.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of her doing that, like let's say you're trying to come in the door, right? So like lean forward a little bit, she blocks her hand like with the other door instead of moving out of the way. She blocks the door completely and then tries to squeeze past me through the door at the same time as me instead of just moving. Like just little petty stuff like that. It's like, and it's like, sis, you're the one that did something to me. Like, I'm not understanding why you have all of this underlying animosity as if you're not the one that did me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like I don't really care to fix it. Honestly, it's just kind of like it is what it is.
So did any of your friends seem upset that you changed plans other than the New York friend?
No, everybody else is just kind of like, "Oh, well, we'll just figure out something else, or I'll just, send you something." I mean, my friend in New York, she said the same thing, but it was just like whenever, she actually, because she said that before she canceled the flight. So it was like after she canceled the flight, and I was like, "I'm so sorry, like we can still, do a trip," and she didn't respond to that part. So I don't know if she was just like irritated with actually having to cancel it, or I don't know. I haven't talked to her to see. But yeah.
So now the plan is going somewhere with your boyfriend?
Yeah, basically. And just I may do some things with the friends that I already have out here in Dallas just because they're already here, so it's a little bit easier for me. to kind of do something. But yeah, I kind of had to, like I said, rearrange some things because of the whole class thing.
Yeah. Well, we did the SC 90, the questions, sort of last time you sent me the answers for it. So I did the analysis of it, and the only one you were a little bit high on was depression. Tell me about kind of your history of depression. Have you ever struggled with that?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I've had, it wasn't until about a year and a half ago that I realized it, but I feel like I've had high functioning depression for a long time. I just didn't realize it. It's not as bad as it used to be because I've worked through a lot of the things like trauma and stuff that I went through like as a kid. So it's not as bad, but I do find myself like getting in those moods where I'm just like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to, but it doesn't get as bad as it used to. It used to feel really heavy and really just like, why am I here? Not suicidal thoughts, but more so like, why would like finding my purpose? Like why? Like I can't live a. You can't say that I'm here to live a life of just feeling this consistent pain and like carrying all these burdens around. And that's kind of what made me kind of do some soul searching. But I will say that I've been like high functioning depression, and I think it started in my teenage years because a lot of the times I can honestly tell you that one time during the summer I spent an entire week inside the house. I didn't go anywhere, and it wasn't even due to like me being depressed, but I think it was almost like I was conditioned to be depressed. I know that sounds weird, but when you can't go anywhere, and I literally didn't go anywhere for a week, maybe stepped outside to maybe check the mail, but to go anywhere, no. And it wasn't even just like, it was just my parents like, oh, you went somewhere last weekend, so you can't go anywhere this weekend. That used to be a pet peeve of mine, because why does it matter that I went somewhere last weekend? Like why does that? So I spent a lot of time in my room, in a dark room with that, because the way my room was set up, I didn't have a window because the area that was my window used to be the window to the patio, but they changed that and added the patio to a part of our house, and so that big opening now was now just the opening in my room, and the window was now in the office. So it was a window, but it wasn't in my room. So a lot of times it would just be dark. And I didn't have a TV because I wasn't allowed to have a TV in my room. So I would just be in my room in the dark, either sleep on my phone for hours because I couldn't go anywhere either. So it kind of conditions you to just be depressed. It's basically like prison. So
yeah.
Once you get a momentum with that, and then other things happen, and you have no choice but to just sit there with it, you can't go out. You can't really do much with anything.
Sort of felt like a jail cell.
Yes, I could only. You know how like those jails where they can only go outside every now and then? That's how I felt. Honestly, that's really how my teenage years felt. And it's like now that I'm older, I realize that my parents, they meant well. That I'm pretty sure they weren't out like